Hello and welcome to the virtual edition of Hitachi's Social Innovation Forum 2021, India Online. Social innovation addresses the world's social and environmental needs. It is bigger than any individual or company. Social innovation requires businesses and the entire society to work together towards a common goal. And Hitachi accelerates collaborative creation with customers to make what is good for the world a reality. Held in countries across the globe, Hitachi's Social Innovation Forum is designed to serve as a venue for creating exactly such opportunities. And through various speeches, seminars, and a wide range of exhibitions at the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum, Hitachi aims to share its vision for society and businesses of tomorrow with customers and partners around the world. The Indian edition of Hitachi's Social Innovation Forum 2021 brings to you an array of business leaders and subject matter experts at this discussion and networking platform together around the theme Sustainability in the New Normal, the whats, the whys and hows, where our guests will engage in fruitful discussions on working together to pave the way towards a better future for India. But before we begin, let's see how Hitachi is leveraging its social innovation business solutions to improve people's quality of life in India by increasing their social, environmental, and economic values.
A rising digital India, millions of electrified households, safer, faster, punctual metro services, increased agri output and farmer incomes, skyrocketing growth in digital payments, remotest access to piped water supply, universal access to education and healthcare. A new India is emerging with digital as its backbone to create a better quality of life for all citizens, fueling citizen-centric transformation. Government's robust Digital India, Make in India and Smart Cities missions and vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat or a self-reliant India are paving the way for India to emerge as an influential leader on the global stage. A committed partner in India's transformational journey since pre-independence, Hitachi is joining forces with the Government of India, community and stakeholders across diverse industries to accelerate the nation's digital transformation and progression to a human-centered society 5.0, drawing upon its 85 years of lineage and legacy in India. Globally recognized OT and IT expertise and its spirit of collaboration, Hitachi continues to innovate solutions through social innovation business that enhance the citizens' social, environmental and economic values. Led by Hitachi's overarching mission to contribute to society through the development of superior, original technology and products, Hitachi's business verticals are expanding their footprint across the length and breadth of India, ushering in social innovation across critical sectors such as mobility, manufacturing, energy, e-education, payments, agriculture, e-governance, healthcare, and city gas distribution, significantly improving every citizen's quality of life. Through green energy solutions, holistic rail solutions, innovative cash and digital payment solutions, state-of-the-art e-governance, e-education and e-healthcare platform, smart infrastructure and Industry 4.0 solutions, Hitachi has actively supported and continues to support India in its all-inclusive, sustainable development. Taking Hitachi's social innovation legacy forward, we leverage our unique, collaborative creation platform, Hitachi Social Innovation Forum, to bring together the best minds from diverse business fields and enrich our knowledge, ensuring we structure an effective business roadmap and continue powering good in society. Causing significant disruption, the global pandemic has reinforced the urgent need for virtual collaborations and co-creation between organizations to survive and thrive in the new normal. Donning a digital avatar, we are transforming to organize Hitachi's unique collaborative creation platform virtually. Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 India Online, partnered by Times Network. The digital event will witness participation of forward thinkers and experts from diverse industries spanning mobility, payment infrastructure, urban development, smart manufacturing, e-governance, energy, e-health, e-education, smart farming. It is an opportunity for Hitachi and all its partners to envision new solutions and new collaborations in this new digital era.
The digital revolution we are experiencing with the emergence of breakthrough technologies like AI, machine learning, IoT and big data analytics has set the stage for a completely new business and economic paradigm with citizen at the very epicenter. Hitachi is leading this digitalization wave from the front, leveraging our vast experience in OT/IT to pioneer social innovation business solutions that empower millions to lead a better quality of life every minute, every day.
Join the digital revolution together with Hitachi for powering good, a sustainable future for all.
That was Hitachi leading the digitization wave, empowering millions in India to lead a better quality of life. It is difficult to overcome the complex challenges in the current times with just the power of one person or one organization. Hitachi's vision for the future includes a human-centric society that provides well-being and a better quality of life for all, maintaining harmony with nature and incorporating the various characteristics of different places, rather than simply pursuing what is comfortable. This is how Hitachi is powering good for societies, and that's why it is essential to co-create with various partners to deliver the change that the world needs. But before we proceed any further, let's see how Hitachi is contributing to people's lives every day.
Food, water, light. These basic essentials should remain accessible even when times are tough. Through manufacturing and digital technology, Hitachi keeps infrastructure and our daily lives on track, contributing to people's lives every day for 110 years and counting.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to please welcome Toshiaki Higashihara, President and CEO Hitachi Limited, to kindly deliver the welcome address and set the context for the next 2 days of deliberations at the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021, India Online.
Thank you very much for participating in the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum. First, I would like to express my deepest condolences to those who have lost loved ones or been otherwise impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. To anyone who is currently affected, I wish you a rapid recovery. Last year, we celebrated the 110th anniversary of Hitachi's founding. Since its founding, Hitachi has focused its effort on creating a better society. Based on our cooperative mission of contributing to society through the development of the superior original technology and products. Hitachi will continue to support the lifestyles of people around the world through social innovation, leveraging our strengths of having operational technology, IT, and products. Through this online forum today, we would like to reaffirm our commitment to India, which has always been very important to us. Hitachi is India's trusted strategic partner, having presence in diversified business area for more than 85 years. In order to realize the Digital India and Making in India initiatives that the Indian government is aiming for, Hitachi is supporting digital transformation and the development of the human-centered Society 5.0 in India through the social innovation business. We are efficiently collaborating with the government in mobility, finance, agriculture, energy, infrastructure, e-education, and e-governance to realize its vision of the better human life. Hitachi is offering e-governance solutions across various sectors as a part of our connected citizen ecosystem. Our technologies and solutions are empowering the citizens and helping build a sustainable society. By combining Hitachi ABB Power Grid's world-class power grid business with Hitachi's advanced digital technologies such as Lumada, Hitachi will provide innovative energy solutions. Our joint venture with State Bank of India for the establishment of the future-ready digital payment platform is strengthening the financial inclusion of the nation and contributing toward India's digital growth. During these uncertain times, the R&D Center of Hitachi India launched the COVID-19 dashboard to keep the citizens and society updated about the pandemic spread situation. We will further expand our business and support India's vision of becoming $5 trillion economy in the future. In this way, we are contributing towards improving customers' corporate value and people's quality of life by creating social, environmental, and economic values. On this event website, you can see my keynote speech from Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2020 Tokyo, where I spoke in detail on social innovation and the values of the connections. I hope you can find some time to watch it. I invite you to join Hitachi in creating a richer and sustainable society where people can lead healthier and more comfortable lives. Let's power good together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Higashihara, for that inspiring welcome address. I believe we are indeed on the right path towards achieving Hitachi's motto of powering good. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now please welcome Bharat Kaushal, Managing Director, Hitachi India. Mr. Kaushal is the first Indian to spearhead Hitachi India's operations and has over 29 years of industry experience, specializing in macroeconomic policy, government advisory, project finance, debt restructuring, and mergers and acquisitions. Mr. Kaushal, may I request you to please deliver the keynote address and inaugurate the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 India Online.
Dear partners, good morning and welcome to the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 India Online, partnered by Times Network. I would like to extend heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for joining this intuitive and engaging platform. I sincerely hope that you and your loved ones are in the best of health and have been able to champion the new normal way of living, leading a positive life. The year 2020 has been an exceptional phase in our lives, shaking the entire world, as well as exhibiting our resilience towards the way we conduct business and determine our way of living. An array of dots is connecting the new normal work and life culture, resting on the firm pillars of digital transformation. Through this robust virtual gateway, we are building a connected customer ecosystem, a powerful platform revolving around customer centricity, and is evolving rather expeditiously. India has been prospering precipitously across multifaceted fields of businesses, and is at a dominant position to lead the progression of becoming a 5 trillion economy, overtaking some of the leading global economies. Digital boundaries of India have grown leaps and bounds to connect the remotest parts of the country and endow its citizens. Hitachi India has been one of the entrusted partners in revolutionizing this digital and infrastructure-led business landscape for more than 8 decades now, strengthening the pillars of advancements. Our growth trajectory is efficaciously immersed with the deep-rooted vision and mission of the government, including Make in India and Digital India. The government is envisioning and charting a roadmap to upscale digital technology, structuring it as a composite gateway. Atmanirbhar Bharat has been envisaged to making India self-reliant. Hitachi India is already canvassing its business plans to offer its solutions under each of these initiatives. As we voyage in this journey, we are confident that India leading the growth trajectory within the global environment. Building grounds through concerted efforts like Hitachi Social Innovation Forum and sharing of enriching platforms, Hitachi has been able to offer social innovation business solutions, entering an era of new world that is interconnected with a universal objective. Hitachi's business peripheries have grown colossally in the last few years to offer a heterogeneous cluster of customer-centric solutions. Conjointly, we all share the vision of our Prime Minister, where the future looks dynamic and our preparedness amidst any uncertain environment in the future appears to be attainable. For Hitachi, we've been further strengthening, coalescing, and synergizing our solutions with the government's initiative. The unification of Hitachi ABB will help us offer solutions in the core sector of energy, utilizing OT and IT and e-mobility solutions to enhance the environmental values. The Hitachi Honda JV will support to offer one of the largest component ancillaries in the automotive segment, focusing on e-vehicles and automated driving, complementing in building an environmentally enhanced and connected nation. More progressive yet successful contribution placed under the various government projects in the areas of e-education, healthcare and agriculture through Hitachi MGRMNet is optimizing and enhancing the social, environmental and economic values of the citizens. Just to cite few recent endeavors of how Hitachi is bolstering the pillars of growth for India include the commissioning of its first project under the dedicated freight corridor plan, making the supply chain and logistics more efficient, paving way for a convenient travel for millions of passengers and offering our technological expertise in rolling stock space for Mumbai Metro Line 2 and 7, ensuring seamless connectivity. Hitachi is also enabling multimodal urban transportation solutions through dynamically changing the traveling landscape, ensuring safety, comfort, and convenience of citizens and contributing tremendously to the economic growth of the nation. Hitachi India is playing a vital role in this digital transformation through its cutting-edge OT and IT solutions. Hitachi is leveraging its expertise to contrive an IoT-enabled Lumada platform for comprehensive digital solutions through collaborating with stakeholders, strengthening the city gas distribution network, and enhancing India's transition into a gas-based economy. The government's determined efforts in the agriculture sector is making the farmers more empowered, using technology as a catalyst. The recent measures have witnessed encouraging outcomes like electronic trading portals, creating a unified national market for agri-commodities. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture for enhancing agricultural productivity, focusing on integrated farming, water use efficiency, soil health management. So these initiatives have been resting on the unified pillars of digital technology, and Hitachi has already been offering a robust array of solutions in these areas, ensuring farmers benefit by gaining the maximum yield for their crop. The National Health Digital Mission scheme under the Ayushman Bharat pledges itself to offer a healthier environment, focusing on telemedicine and offering health services digitally, is aimed at strengthening the accessibility and equity of health services across the country. Leveraging information technology and other associated technologies, NDHM is intended to support the existing health systems in a citizen-centric approach. Hitachi MGRMNet is already consorting with the policy planners across different states, building a healthier ecosystem, ensuring medical urgencies are addressed remotely and patients are empowered like never before. The government's efforts to build a knowledge-based economy is highlighted in the visionary National Education Policy of 2020, outlining India's new education system. NEP is a comprehensive framework for elementary to higher education as well as vocational training in both rural and urban India. NEP envisions an India-centric education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation's sustainability into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high-quality education to all. It is a platform to facilitate exchange of ideas on technology usage to improve learning. With a robust data analytics engine, ICT-enabled platform, and an inbuilt performance mapping capability, Hitachi MGRMNet is proficiently utilizing its prowess to impact lives of more than 5 million students already. Hitachi has been at the forefront of driving, collaborating, and supporting the Indian government's mission of financial and digital inclusion through deployment of Hitachi MoneySpot mobile ATMs across the country's hinterland, ensuring improved payment infrastructure. Hitachi Payment Services and the State Bank of India joint venture for the establishment of a state-of-the-art card acceptance and future-ready digital payment platform for India combines the unparalleled distribution network, customer trust of SBI with cutting-edge technology and services of the Hitachi Group in areas such as digital payments technology, services, big data, analytics, and artificial intelligence. All these achievements are driven by the trust stakeholders place on us. These concentrated efforts rest on the strong foundation of a successful outcome through the pervasive adoption of technology-led transformation, inherited in our ingrained 110 years old culture and ethos. We are enabling Society 5.0 and Industry 4.0 agenda in India, utilizing Lumara application, edge intelligence, and co-creation services as part of the solid digital platforms. Collaborative initiatives like the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum propels and reaffirms our vision of touching millions of lives every day. We stand firm and committed in transforming these millions of lives to reach billions in the next few years through powering good. Let's build on an empowered India we want to experience in and as our future, using this platform, the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 India Online. All the very best. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Mr. Kaushal, for that inspiring keynote. And furthering this endeavour, it is my privilege and honour to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Rajiv Kumar. Dr. Rajiv Kumar needs no introduction. He is a leading Indian economist and Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog. He has authored several books on India's economy and national security. Dr. Rajiv Kumar, may we please request you to deliver a special address at the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021, India Online.
Namaskar. I want to sincerely congratulate the Times Network and the Hitachi Corporation for organizing the 4th edition of the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum. This is an important undertaking, especially these days when innovation and that innovation which is catered to or focused on improving the quality of life of the people is now becoming the key for taking India forward. In these technologically turbulent times, it is critical that all of us should promote innovation and try and get everybody, all the stakeholders on the same platform so that these innovations don't just rest in labs or in incubating centers but become a part of our daily life. Hitachi Innovation Social Forum has now brought all of these stakeholders together, and I'm sure with this we will see further successes, whether it's in the field of education or agriculture or health and also other forms of where science and technology is important. Friends, I want to apprise you of the importance that Niti Aayog gives to innovation under the leadership of our Prime Minister. Under his guidance, we have established the Atal Innovation Mission, which is now in its 5th year, and in these 5 years we have managed to establish more than 7,500 Atal Tinkering Labs in secondary schools in the country. We have also established 69 Atal Incubation Centers, and we are now taking up the Atal Innovation Challenges in the big way. We are collaborating with other countries, we are bringing in mentors who work voluntarily, and therefore I say all of this to emphasize that Niti Aayog is trying to create an innovation ecosystem in the country which will benefit not just the entrepreneurs who we want to promote in any case, but also create a climate for our young minds, our students who to become innovators themselves. The hackathon that we organize has also become a very important milestone in our annual calendar. Collaborative creation with private players like Hitachi is in fulfilling the ambitious goal set by the Prime Minister will take us forward to new heights. And I think in this regard we must keep an eye on the evolving technologies which will help us keep pace with the rest of the world and make our innovators contribute to the societal good as we go forward. The most important part, of course, is sustainability, and I think I must congratulate Hitachi in its various endeavors and initiatives to have supported or to have promoted sustainability. India does not have the luxury of doing whatever we want to do and then try and retrofit it later. That's not possible these days. We have to make sure that the higher pace of economic growth and development is in sync with our environmental requirements, and we take both along. Economic development and environment have to go ahead together, and therefore forums like the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum will achieve this new direction going forward, because that is where we need to make sure that all our corporations follow this example of focusing on the triple bottom line, which is profitability, environmental sustainability, and social improvement and societal improvements. So once more, I congratulate Hitachi and the Times Network for organizing this platform, and I wish it all the success. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar, for that discerning special address. And ladies and gentlemen, may we now present a special session between Dr. Rajiv Kumar, Vice Chairman Niti Aayog, and Mihir Bhatt, Chief Editor IPs, Times Network, to discuss the roadmap of a sustainable future in the new normal for India.
Sir, thank you so much for your kind words and appreciating our effort. This has been an ongoing partnership between Times Network and Hitachi, and thank you so much. It gives us a great pleasure, and thank you for being part of this year's Social Innovation Forum, which is actually happening online, keeping the safety concerns in mind. But sir, I want to start, in fact, with the theme itself. I don't think humanity anywhere in the world was more conscious about sustainable development that it is now, thanks to the pandemic. What is your take, the importance of sustainable growth, especially in this new normal? I mean, what is your view and vision on it?
As I said earlier, we are faced with a real carbon constraint. Countries like India, who are now in the midst of their economic transition, cannot ignore the environmental realities. We have but one planet, and we have to make sure that this planet remains healthy, and we can sustain it. We can sustain the environment going forward. But in the Indian situation, given our Indian traditions of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we have always maintained that man has to live with nature and in nature. There has been a centuries-old tradition of man not fighting nature or conquering nature, but man living with nature. And I think that tradition has to now be pushed forward, now has to be given all the priority that it needs. And therefore, I must emphasize that sustainability is now as important as achieving higher economic growth rates and higher employment generation. So that's my view, and I think the pandemic has also shown that we have to now live with this new normal, and we cannot continue to have business as usual and follow old models of growth and development, because that just will not be sustainable, that will just not be applicable or appropriate.
Right. Sir, since we are talking about pandemic, we have seen the recent GDP growth numbers as well. Now, can we confidently say that at least we have turned the corner from negative impact caused by the pandemic, and we are in a high growth trajectory?
Look, I don't want to speculate on this because confident as I am that we have done whatever we can to defeat the pandemic, and that we are one of the few countries that have got our own 2 vaccines, and we've rolled out the largest vaccination program in the world, and now we are in the second phase of it. The pandemic itself can create uncertainties which we are not sure of. As we have seen in the recent couple of the past 2 or 3 weeks, we cannot become complacent at all. We need to be as careful as we have been, because the pandemic, given its own nature, can suddenly flare up and cause us a lot of problems. So while I think that we are now on the road to recovery, on a road to strong recovery, I must emphasize that we have to be as careful as we have been before until we have achieved large-scale vaccination, and until the fresh cases have actually gone down to zero and remained there for a while.
Absolutely. Sir, this also happens to be the first year of the decade, and I think from India's point of view, probably this is going to be one of the most crucial decades for India as a nation, as an economy, and the kind of growth trajectory that we try and chase, or even the development trajectory that we try and pursue. Obviously, sustainability is a key component for that development. What are your views on this decade, and how India can actually follow right sustainable policy and make this the decade that counts?
You're absolutely right. This is a decade which is critical for meeting our own ambitions, the aspirations of our young population, and for taking forward the economic transition in the midst of which we are. India is a unique country and an example. We have chosen, our forefathers chose to undertake the 3 transitions simultaneously: the economic, the political, and the social. And nowhere else in the world have this been done simultaneously or at the same time. And we have succeeded. We have succeeded beyond anybody's beliefs or anybody's expectations in completing and taking forward our social and political transitions much forward. As a democracy, we have strengthened that. The economic transition is in the making, and it's the economic transition we have to now complete. And this decade must be the one where we take huge steps forward in our economic transition. And this is where I think the key is, the key, absolutely the key, which the Prime Minister has now emphasized more than once, is for the government and the private sector to work together. We have to ensure that we mobilize the best talent, the largest forms of energy from the private sector, and the government's role. We play the government's role to its perfection of facilitating and promoting the private sector and the private investor. So therefore, I think if we achieve that, and if we achieve this synergy and the trust-based relationship between the Indian private sector, which has been for centuries, the creator of value and the driver of economic growth, if we can create this synergy between the private sector and the government, I think there is no reason that we will not be able to achieve 8% plus growth in the coming 10 years. And if we do that, we would have actually gone a considerable way forward in completing our economic transition by the time we celebrate the centenary of our independence in 2047. So this decade has to be the one in which India steps on to a different growth paradigm and to a different growth development model, which sees the private sector and the government working closely together and working on the basis of a trust, because that is the key for achieving the targets that we have.
Right. In fact, sir, I must congratulate Niti Aayog and you also for being part of a critical, I would say, vision initiative that Government of India has undertaken for the development and sustainable growth. Now, some 2-3 major steps or I think reforms, if you can elaborate on that, which are very critical to have a sustained, growth and development trajectory. Like you rightly mentioned, next 20-30 years will actually decide the future for many coming generations of Indians.
People don't emphasize it as much as they should, but our greatest strength in this country is our human resources, because that's really have been the biggest strength, and they remain that. And in this regard, the national education policy that's been announced in 2020, I think will play, the implementation of that will play a very major role in achieving a higher rate of growth, because we need more skills, we need more human resources of high quality, we need global quality human capabilities in this country, and I think we can achieve that. And the national education policy, which is with its very wide ranging reform agenda that it's talked about, I think will play that role going forward. I think so that's very important. The other part important, of course, is as I said, for the government to move out of all the sectors where government has no business to be. And I think that now there is a clear decision that government will remain only in the 4 strategic sectors, and I think this is the biggest reform, because it will unleash the private energies of sector, the energies of the private sector, and it will give more space and more opportunities for the private investors, both domestic and foreign, to take part in India's growth story. And I think that's the second biggest reform, transformative reform that we are taking now. The others, of course, are well known. Whether it's, for example, the GST and its implementation and its and in time its expanded coverage to cover the fuel, petroleum products, fuel and energy as we go forward, because that creates a unified market across this huge country, and across this continental sized country, and I think that will make that will make our business and our industry competitive. Again, the reforms being undertaken now in developing our infrastructure, a globally competitive infrastructure, the highway network, the dedicated freight corridors in which Hitachi is playing such an important role, the high speed train between Ahmedabad and Mumbai, and our own energy sector reform. So infrastructure, I think, the other big story that we have going forward, and the fact that we have 110 lakh crore pipeline of infrastructure projects is testimony to this government's commitment to build a world class infrastructure in this country. So these are some of the things that we need to do, and I must also include here another social sector reform, which is to improve and ensure better health for all. And I think Ayushman Bharat, which is a start, which promises a coverage of medical insurance for 50 crore people. This will have to be extended to everybody, and we will soon launch the National Digital Health Mission, which will ensure that each one of us has a unique medical ID, and so that we can travel anywhere in the country and get the required medical services. So these are some of the key steps that this government has initiated and is now implementing, and that will ensure that we achieve the required high rates of growth along with sustainability, where again one more thing which will be shifting to a more water conservative, more efficient agriculture, which is again something that the government has already initiated. So those are the reforms. These are big transformative ideas, but I am sure we will implement them, and as we implement them, we will achieve the desired rates of growth with sustainability as we go forward.
Right. So just one question. You did mention about some of the major technology-led reforms that government is working on and NITI Aayog is working on. I think one key takeaway that we saw in education and many other sectors as well was availability of secured digital technology, including the net access. That plays a very crucial role, I think, in a situation like this, or in the new normal, as we call it. What are the key takeaways that you have on your notepad from the last 1 year during the pandemic in terms of availability of secured universal technological access to all Indians?
This is a very important point that you've raised, and I think we are now thankfully on the way to eliminating what I call the digital dualism in our country, where only a few of us, the elite, had access to the digital technology, to digital communications, and to move to a situation where it is universally accessible. And I think in this regard, the rollout of the BharatNet, which has already covered now 150,000 gram panchayats, and will be covering the remaining gram panchayats in the coming 2 or 3 years, and the fact that we are now moving towards a PPP framework for rolling out of the BharatNet. Private participation for rolling out of the BharatNet will ensure that optical fiber reaches every gram panchayat in this country in the next 2 years. And then the Prime Minister, as you know, has announced that in the next 1,000 days, which is 3 years, effectively every village will be connected to digital communication. And I think that's what we need to be really ensuring, that program, that promise, that target is implemented, because once every village in this country and every urban local body and every community is connected digitally, you will have that access to our children and to our young people, which will give them access to information which is globally available. And I think therefore, for me, the target is clear, and I think the implementation is now taking place, and I can see that by 2024, India will be a digitally empowered economy, a digitally empowered society, whereby all our young people and all our citizens will have access to the best technology, because without that we will not be able to succeed in what you call the new normal, which is now becoming quite clearly the normal as we go forward. So those are the programs that the government has, and I know for certain that there is a huge amount of effort being put in to ensure that these targets are met and that India becomes a digitally empowered society in the next 3 years.
Right. Sir, you broadly mentioned 3 sectors: education, agriculture, and infrastructure. Within that, obviously, technology now will play a crucial role. And in case of education, we have seen also that the new education policy also has a serious amount of focus on skill development and technology. Unfortunately, obviously, in a lot of cases, we have seen that sometimes the central government and the state government may not necessarily be on the same page, and the rollout of these reforms, which are led by technology, may be slightly slower than what it should be. What is your take on correcting this, I would say, abnormality or the anomaly that we have within our structure in terms of unlocking the true potential in agriculture, education, infrastructure? I mean, for example, railways. If you look at railways, it remains one of the largest employers in the country, but the pace of reforms or the pace of implementation of technology is quite slow. What is your take on that?
We must recognize that ours is a continental size economy with huge diversities, with huge amount of governance, very big differentials in governance capabilities. And but in Niti Aayog, we are seized with the task of improving governance across in all the states. And I'm sure and I'm convinced that as we go forward, all the states which are now being encouraged to compete with each other, because Niti Aayog brings out all these rankings, all these indices that we have. We also will have the same sort of competitive spirit driving the states in achieving their own digital empowerment and the digital target that we've talked about. And I think you will see that much larger number of states will get on board sooner rather than later. And as I said earlier, in the next 3 to 4 years, we will have a digitally empowered India, and an India where this does not suffer from digital dualism, which we have known for so long. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar, for that thought-provoking one-on-one discussion. And ladies and gentlemen, may we now present a special session between Bharat Kaushal, Managing Director Hitachi India, and Mihir Bhatt, Chief Editor IP's Times Network, to set the agenda for the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 India Online.
Welcome to Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021. We are witnessing rapid transformation and a dynamic business environment. The recent pandemic has brought major alterations in the world and the societies today. The disruption has not only posed challenges but also tested organizations for their perseverance for future emergencies. It has reinforced the need for virtual collaborations and co-creations between organizations in the new normal. To steer through such uncertain times and make this world a better place to live, Hitachi India, in partnership with Times Network, brings to you Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 India Online, a unique collaborative creation platform. It aims to convene strategic thinkers to realize a sustainable society under the new normal by leveraging its social innovation business solutions and improve people's quality of life by increasing their social, environmental, and economic values. Hitachi Social Innovation Forum has been conceptualized virtually, ensuring the health and safety of all its stakeholders as the top priority. The forum will exhibit Hitachi's vision for the new normal way of conducting business through diverse and compelling panel discussions and a showcase of its technologies through a virtual exhibition. Let's connect to witness how Hitachi Social Innovation is powering good to make this world a better place. This year, the theme Sustainability in the New Normal, the what's, whys, and hows has been kept, keeping in mind the post-pandemic times where the world has changed rapidly. The pandemic has given the global community an opportunity to reevaluate living and working. And to discuss this, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Bharat Kaushal, MD Hitachi India, with whom we will engage on this year's theme. Sir, thank you so much for joining us, and it's a pleasure to partner you on this great initiative. But my first question, this pandemic has changed the way we live in many ways, from the way we work to the way we live. I mean, what has been your experience? How do you perceive the change?
I think we have been in this journey of transition, at least in India, already for the last 2 decades or so, and it has been progressively disruptive. However, what the pandemic has done is redefined the meaning of geography, redefined the meaning of distances, redefined how we work and how we play in a very, very significant way. And when you look at a company like Hitachi, we are in the infrastructure business, we are in manufacturing business, we are also in the digital business. So on one side, we saw that people will take some time to become demand in terms of manufacturing, and work and play at infrastructure sites will be delayed. But things like digital payments, things like data center operations, things like command and control center for essential services, be it railways or water or city gas, all of them have gone through a revolutionary upscaling in terms of requirement.
That's true. Now, I just wanted to, bring up one more issue, and especially in a country like India, like you rightly said, this transition has been happening in India for past 2 decades. But it is very critical, especially in this new normal, to reduce the digital divide between rural and urban India. And here, infrastructure is the key which will enable us to achieve this digital dream. According to you, how India Inc. can contribute and resolve the data security issue or the infrastructure issue?
I think this is a very important question from the perspective of a large geography that we are living in India. Because the offline and online complementarity, first of all, is of great essence. We have seen a lot of changes happen in the urban environment, and realizable outcomes have already been witnessed. But when you look at rural economy, there has been a sudden upsurge in the adoption levels of technology, because that has been the basis on which this network has become more vibrant and more sound and more utilized more optimally. I think it is very big responsibility of large companies to ensure that this dissemination channel as well as interactive channel is about data flow with a lot of trust. And that is something that Hitachi is also committed to on a global platform.
Right. Now, obviously one more critical sector is manufacturing, and obviously it remains one of the pillars of Indian economy. It's very critical for job markets as well. Do you think India Inc. is ready to transform the manufacturing digitally after all the lessons that they've learned during this new normal?
I think we are in a unique place when it comes to manufacturing, because within India, we all talk about Industry 4.0, but in India, Industry 1.0 and 2.0 and 3.0 also parallelly coexist with 4.0. So when you look at a response towards where manufacturing generally in the world is going and the influence of robotics and new capacity building challenges in India, even as an employment provider, we have to have that both shorter term impact as well as the medium and long term image in mind. And therefore companies like Hitachi, which do automotive and power electronics and metals and construction machinery and a variety of industrial products, the idea is that which one is ready within the Indian market and which one is ready from the Indian market to rest of the world, and where do we need to apply skill sets of digitization at a more preliminary level and bring more journeys of assisted intelligence to augmented intelligence. And there are still others where India is competing on a bigger global horizon, and there you need to sort of deliver solutions which are from augmented intelligence to automated intelligence.
Right. Now, like you rightly said, and I'll just take that point forward, in India, there is a unique situation where Industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and so on and so forth, they all coexist. Because of this, obviously there are advantages of cashless economy and they cannot be downplayed. But what we need to realize is that even those who have access to credit cards, debit cards, net banking or mobile payments, sometimes they are apprehensive about using it extensively because there are different fears, fears of important details being stolen or the whole data security issue. These fears do exist. What would you like to tell the people who are sort of willing to join this revolution but are hesitant? How can you offer, what can you offer to change the mindset of the people?
First of all, as a player in this, it also becomes inherently our big responsibility. And I'm not saying because of our reputation alone, but there is a lot of trust when people hand over transaction ability. It's an empowering tool. So on one side, technology is leading to tremendous change in terms of development. The baskets of what rural demand is and urban demand is have changed dramatically. And there is a lot of commonality now being built because of supply chain augmentation and other things that people are doing, and rural demand patterns are changing. But when people are adopting digital technology or digital methods of payment, then we need to invest more soundly in making sure that the transaction itself and the larger biometric identity which links to the bank accounts and so on are insulated from each other in a manner that they do authorize the payment and enable the transaction, but they don't lead one kind of a vulnerable area into opening up the whole account for anyone to misuse.
Right. COVID-19 has been actually an eye-opener for all of us in a lot of ways. And one of the most critical sectors is healthcare. Now, according to you, what is the future of healthcare? Especially when we keep in mind the national and the international scenario, because this time we actually went through a global health crisis and it has taught every nation something for itself.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. I think in India too, it is the biggest political as well as social priority. And it's also about the large demography, and managing a healthy demography is going to be much easier. But the reality is that there is a serious demand and supply gap within organized healthcare. And to bridge that, the government is making every effort. But this effort is also being touted to go to the next generation from, say, maybe less than 1% spent on GDP. If we want to spend 5% of GDP on healthcare alone for a healthier society, it's important to plan it out where technology is integrated for optimizing the productivity and availability of resources in organized healthcare. So from our standpoint, be it the doctor training and nurse training and capacity building of healthcare facilities, the hospital information system, the electronic health record and electronic medical records, the disease protocol definitions, or be it on the citizen side, from queue management and OPDs and tertiary care center scheduling, all the way to radio diagnostics availability, and finally telemedicine. Telemedicine is not just the last mile connection. It's about a more encompassing through the health layers of institution and public, so that you can find a way in which digital healthcare delivery can serve many more people, especially with Ayushman Bharat entitling so many homes and households to come into the definition of eligibility.
Sir, coming back to my previous point of, the digital divide, where we started this conversation. Now, one sector where this has a direct implication is in the space of education. So what we saw is COVID-19 actually accelerated this whole digital reform in universities and schools. In India, there was a divide because there are some areas, rural or obviously tribal areas, where they don't even have basic internet facility fully functional at this point. And then you have urban centers where the education was just sort of transitioned very smoothly from physical to digital environment. How do we fill this gap?
I think this area has seen a lot of revolution, and unbelievable strides have been made in education, especially university and higher education, because of mobile phones and smartphones and connectivity of people who have actually gone to higher education institutions. But yes, the fact is that there are government schools and private schools in the hinterland which need to be addressed by bigger infrastructure issues of digital connectivity. And that has improved. That connectivity of mobile telephony has reached, but the upgrading of doing, say, a video or a online class lesson or an interactive session or an online examination needs more upgradation. I mean, we went into the pandemic on an as-is basis to try and see that not depending on the physical availability of teachers and schools being open or not open, but education must continue. But we have made lots of discoveries in this period where we think that in the ensuing period, we will be able to bring more online and universal acceptance of a new threshold for education, which I'm sure will curb the urban-rural divide more significantly.
Right. Obviously, we cannot complete this conversation unless we talk about the sector which which is the biggest employer in India, but unfortunately doesn't contribute to that extent on the GDP. That's the agriculture sector. now a sector which employs more than 50% of India's workforce. How can we remove or at least correct the imbalance that exists in the income and the effort ratio which goes into sustaining this entire sector? What is your take on that?
I think this is perhaps the most important question. To bring rural households into the definition of middle class, there may have been maybe hundreds of schemes across all states in India. But wealth creation at the bottom of the pyramid has always been a challenge, particularly in rural India. And that is governed by agriculture being an all-encompassing or defining subject, for which number of schemes have now been initiated as well. Reality is that there have been modular application only of technology. So sometimes it's for satellite monitoring, sometimes it's for insurance and imaging, sometimes it's for crop and soil information, sometimes it's for market trading and information and MSPs and a variety of transaction-driven outcomes. But there's no integrated platform. And when to incentivize an integrated platform, you need monetizable opportunities from a rural spend and wallet to be defined, which cannot be compartmentalized in how we have functioned in 75 years so far. I mean, it can't be women and child separate and rural development separate and agriculture separate and education spend separate and healthcare spend separate. Everything is part about uplifting the rural household into mainfold activity. And within agriculture, if you combine what you do for the soil and that information, the cropping cycle and the education and capacity building, the learning management that you need to do there, and start bringing the connectivity with what the market is and a direct linkage to understanding the demand and supply gaps, then perhaps over a period of time, we will see a transformation happening. I think the journey has begun. I'm very optimistic about it. It's a matter of time. And as digital connectivity improves in the country, as energy consumption patterns improve, you will see that adoption levels to this new level will be much sooner.
Right. Sir, as somebody who's so closely involved in, practically building India and its core sectors, be it agriculture, education, so on and so forth, what is your view on Atmanirbhar Bharat? Because effectively, what India is trying to do is capitalize on this crisis and create additional opportunities for India to become self-reliant. What is your view?
I think at some point, the aspiration of superpower also has a fundamental pillar of self-reliance. And Atmanirbhar Bharat is a manifestation of the next generation. It's like Make in India 2.0. It's going one more step. It's not just driven by more job creation or just more manufacturing capacities. We do understand that self-reliance in a global economy has its own set of challenges, be it on the upstream side of raw materials or be it on the market side of finished products and downstream supply chains. But the reality is that certain sectors are meant for India, and there the dependencies can straight away be understood. But where we have to become globally competitive, we make a choice between making it in the same manner as capacities were built in large developed countries maybe 30, 40 years ago, which have already been amortized over higher margin costs, or do we now bring it here and set up those capacities which will be sustainable and have a longer shelf life, identify those sectors. And I give a lot of credit to the planning agencies within the government, because they have identified the core sectors in which they would like in the next decade for us to augment our capacities, and which is making an incentive for all of us as global companies to come and participate with our respective capabilities.
Right. Sir, thank you so much for sharing your views with us. I wish Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 a great success. And it's a pleasure partnering you in this initiative. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kaushal, for setting the agenda for the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021, India Online. Ladies and gentlemen, we now welcome a very special guest, Mr. Amitabh Kant, CEO of Niti Aayog. Mr. Kant has been a driver of the Make in India and Startup India initiatives that positioned India as a leading manufacturing destination. The campaigns have won several international awards and embraced a host of activities, including infrastructure development, product enhancement, private-public partnership, and positioning and branding based on extensive market research. He joins us today for an informative special address on sustainability in the new normal.
I'm truly delighted to participate in the Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, nearly half of our population uses non-motorized transportation for travel, that is walking or cycling. 20% of the people use public transportation for travel, which includes buses and three-wheelers. Nearly same number of people, that is 20% of population, uses two-wheelers for travel. The usage of cars is extremely low in India. Only 5% of the people use it for travel purposes. So essentially, India moves on non-motorized transportation and on public transportation, buses and three-wheelers, followed by two-wheelers. The above figures get reinforced by recently concluded socio-economic survey of Delhi, which states that 70% of the people in Delhi use buses, charter buses, metro and public transportation to go to work. 15.44% of the people in capital use private two-wheelers to go to work. Less than 5% of the people use private cars to travel. Ladies and gentlemen, India is world's largest two-wheeler, three-wheeler and tractor manufacturer. We are world's second largest bus manufacturer, third largest heavy truck manufacturer, and the fourth largest car manufacturer. The auto sector accounts for 7.1% of India's GDP currently and 49% of manufacturing sector. The sector provides employment to nearly 30 million people directly and indirectly. And therefore, we should look at the mobility predictions for the post-COVID world. Our view is that there will be increased preference for non-motorized transport due to safe distancing. Cities are in the process of upgrading non-motorized transport infrastructure, creating walking and cycling lanes. There's also a rise in demand for personal mobility, cars, two-wheelers due to need of social distancing. Simultaneous decrease in demand for public and shared transport due to social distancing regulation. Global freight activity is due to decline by 36% as predicted by OECD, thus decreasing the demand for long-haul freight transportation. Ladies and gentlemen, there are rapid transformations happening in the e-mobility world. The world is at the cusp of mobility revolution, which is going to be shared, connected and zero emission. Rapid technological evolution is driving the transportation revolution in the world. Battery technology is evolving rapidly, where global prices of battery have fallen more than 90% in the last 10 years to less than around 100 kilowatt hour for some category of vehicles. At an overall level, the price hovers around $139 per kilowatt hour. The Government of India's production-linked incentive scheme would give a huge boost to battery manufacturing ecosystem in the country. With an outlay of 18,100 crore, it will give impetus to cell manufacturing along with domestic manufacturing of cathode, anodes and separators. Breakthroughs in battery technology to look beyond lithium and cobalt chemistry are already happening. Solid-state batteries like aluminium, air and zinc air are non-flammable and have emerged as winners for operations in high and low temperatures. Sodium-ion battery built on abundantly available sodium metal is emerging as an alternative to lithium. Flow batteries, vanadium and ferrous base are perfect for grid storage. The financial viability of electric mobility has made it more acceptable to masses. The total cost of ownership parity has been achieved in all vehicle segments with a 5-year time span. The time span reduces much more in case of commercial vehicles like freight delivery vehicles, which have emerged as the first mover. The upfront cost of electric vehicles is also falling rapidly due to technological innovations across the value chain. Alternative ownership models like battery swapping have actually made the cost of EVs at par with internal combustion engines. With the focus on Paris Pact and getting rid of air pollution in our cities, it is inevitable that we shift towards zero emissions mobility powered by renewable sources of energy. The combination of solar and zero emission mobility would greatly reduce the well to wheel emissions of transportation and help reap maximum benefit of zero emission mobility. At the same time, solar and electric vehicles would prove to be a disruption for micro and mini grid areas where electric vehicles can act as distributed storage during daytime and can pump in excess energy back to grid during nighttime using vehicle to grid technologies. This would be a win-win situation for utilities as well as consumers. For us to reimagine mobility in the post-COVID world, India needs to drive electric mobility revolution on two-wheelers, three-wheelers and buses. 80% of the vehicles, as I said, sold in India are two-wheelers and three-wheelers. These combined with buses are the preferred mode of travel by majority, 90% of the people. Further, India has only 20 cars per 1,000 population, while Western countries like the US have ownership of 800 plus cars per 1,000 population. So India does not have legacy issues of high car ownership, thus making it easier to build future of transportation on buses and shared mobility. E-mobility disruption will provide accessible, affordable and inclusive safe transportation options to people across the world and in India. The drive towards electric mobility should not be on personal mobility, otherwise we'll be aggravating the issues of congestion and will never be able to provide equitable access of transportation to our citizens. The focus should be on moving towards EVs, but also on moving people and not moving vehicles, which can be achieved through public transportation and its electrification. Cities of tomorrow need to embrace the concept of transit-oriented development, where public transportation is the backbone of any city and improve ease of living of our citizens. With these few words, I conclude, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to open the first day of Hitachi's Social Innovation Forum 2021, India Online. Let's hear from Hitachi leaders and industry stalwarts on how India is on its path towards attaining sustainability in the new normal. And let's all together become a part of India's growth story. For the next 2 days, we have a long list of thought-provoking discussions lined up for you, covering different verticals, from e-governance to cybersecurity, from e-health to urban development, from payment infrastructure to smart manufacturing, and much more. Quickly summarizing the sessions that we have lined up for you on day one. Our first session is at 12 p.m. and it will talk about maximizing the value of your data. Our second session is at 12:45 p.m. and will aim to reimagine mobility in the aftermath of COVID-19. Our third session at 2:30 p.m. will throw light on manufacturing excellence in the digital era. Session 4 at 3:15 p.m. will focus on the role of artificial intelligence in post-COVID India. Our fifth session at 4 p.m. is on the Digital India landscape from the point of view of adoption of digital technologies and processes by organizations across India. The final session of the day at 4:45 p.m. will bring forth the need for digitization of city gas distribution networks across India. On day 2, we have an even more extensive lineup of sessions planned. The first session at 10:30 a.m. will aim to bridge the education gap of India through technology solutions. The second session at 11:15 a.m. will try to reimagine healthcare in India post the pandemic. The third session at 12 p.m. will look at ways to unlock the agri potential in India through a greater focus on digital solutions. The fourth session of the day at 12:45 p.m. will focus on solar inverters' contribution in the Indian solar renewable domain. Post a short break, the fifth session of the day at 2:30 p.m. is themed Cybersecurity and Next Generation Identity Technology and Data Protection. Our sixth session at 3:15 p.m. will delve deep into how cash and digital economy go hand in hand in a developing economy. Our seventh session at 4 p.m. will evoke a thought-provoking conversation on how electric mobility can transform mass public transportation and pave the way for an electric vehicle revolution. The final session of the day at 4:45 p.m. will throw light on OT versus IT integration in the energy landscape and how it is the future of power. Now, this is a platform for collaborative creation, and this event provides you with immense opportunities to network with Hitachi leaders and industry stalwarts, which will open up possibilities for your organization's growth. So don't forget to use the various tools on the platform to interact and engage with our leaders. We also request you to fill out the feedback form in our lobby. With that, we wish you a great day ahead, and we look forward to you joining all the sessions at the forum.
A trusted partnership of more than 85 years. A journey of nation building and transforming millions of lives. A mission to strengthen social and business infrastructures. All these unify to define Hitachi's legacy in India. For more than 85 years, Hitachi India, through its collaboration with the Government of India, has been striving to build a better future. A future where technology empowers people every minute to create an improved quality of life. Hitachi's legacy in India began in 1933 with the import of household fans. The year 1935 saw Hitachi setting its footprints with the first overseas office in Mumbai. Ushering in rail innovation, Hitachi Group delivered the country's first steam locomotive in 1953. This relationship continued to strengthen, with Hitachi delivering DC electric locomotives in 1955 and 5 Francis turbines for the Bhakra Power Station in 1958. Catalyzing India's transformational growth, Hitachi delivered the first thermal power plant equipment in 1961 and the first public telephone exchange in 1977. The year 1997 saw Hitachi expanding its footprints with the opening of Hitachi India's office in New Delhi. Today, this collaboration is being further solidified in many ways. As India emerges to become a rising superpower, Hitachi leverages its strength in OT and IT and products for an all-inclusive growth across urban and rural India. Hitachi's holistic solutions, powered by new age technologies, fortify rising India's smart mobility solutions, digital farming, cash and digital advanced payment solutions, real-time governance, e-education including digital classrooms, and sustainable energy, water, manufacturing, construction machinery equipments, and healthcare solutions to usher in social innovation in India. With citizens at the very epicenter, Hitachi is engaging its social innovation business to accelerate India's physical and digital transformation and catapult the nation towards Industry 4.0 and Progressive Society 5.0. As a true partner, Hitachi is committed towards the sustainable growth of the country. Driven by its spirit of collaborative creation, Hitachi is actively partnering with the government in scripting the success of Digital India, Make in India and Smart Cities mission, and is fully committed to support the Government of India in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations and build a sustainable society. Through the development of advanced and superior technology, Hitachi continues to enhance the social, environmental and economic values of the nation and improve people's quality of life. Hitachi is touching and transforming the lives of millions of citizens through social innovation business every day. A rising digital India. Millions of electrified households, safer, faster, punctual metro services, increased agri output and farmer incomes. skyrocketing growth in digital payments, remotest access to piped water supply, universal access to education and healthcare. A new India is emerging with digital as its backbone to create a better quality of life for all citizens, fueling citizen-centric transformation. Government's robust Digital India, Make in India and Smart Cities missions and vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat or a self-reliant India are paving the way for India to emerge as an influential leader on the global stage. A committed partner in India's transformational journey since pre-independence, Hitachi is joining forces with the Government of India, community and stakeholders across diverse industries to accelerate the nation's digital transformation and progression to a human-centered society 5.0, drawing upon its 85 years of lineage and legacy in India. Globally recognized OT and IT expertise and its spirit of collaboration, Hitachi continues to innovate solutions through social innovation business that enhance the citizens' social, environmental and economic values. Led by Hitachi's overarching mission to contribute to society through the development of superior, original technology and products, Hitachi's business verticals are expanding their footprint across the length and breadth of India, ushering in social innovation across critical sectors such as mobility, manufacturing, energy, e-education, payments, agriculture, e-governance, healthcare, and city gas distribution, significantly improving every citizen's quality of life. Through green energy solutions, holistic rail solutions, innovative cash and digital payment solutions, state-of-the-art e-governance, e-education and e-healthcare platform, smart infrastructure and Industry 4.0 solutions, Hitachi has actively supported and continues to support India in its all-inclusive, sustainable development. Taking Hitachi's social innovation legacy forward, we leverage our unique, collaborative creation platform, Hitachi Social Innovation Forum, to bring together the best minds from diverse business fields and enrich our knowledge, ensuring we structure an effective business roadmap and continue powering good in society. Causing significant disruption, the global pandemic has reinforced the urgent need for virtual collaborations and co-creation between organizations to survive and thrive in the new normal. Donning a digital avatar, we are transforming to organize Hitachi's unique collaborative creation platform virtually. Hitachi Social Innovation Forum 2021 India Online, partnered by Times Network. The digital event will witness participation of forward thinkers and experts from diverse industries spanning mobility, payment infrastructure, urban development, smart manufacturing, e-governance, energy, e-health, e-education, smart farming. It is an opportunity for Hitachi and all its partners to envision new solutions and new collaborations in this new digital era.
The digital revolution we are experiencing with the emergence of breakthrough technologies like AI, machine learning, IoT and big data analytics has set the stage for a completely new business and economic paradigm with citizen at the very epicenter. Hitachi is leading this digitalization wave from the front, leveraging our vast experience in OT/IT to pioneer social innovation business solutions that empower millions to lead a better quality of life every minute, every day.
Join the digital revolution together with Hitachi for powering good, a sustainable future for all.
Food, water, light. These basic essentials should remain accessible even when times are tough. Through manufacturing and digital technology, Hitachi keeps infrastructure and our daily lives on track, contributing to people's lives every day for 110 years and counting.
A trusted partnership of more than 85 years. A journey of nation building and transforming millions of lives. a mission to strengthen social and business infrastructures. All these unify to define Hitachi's legacy in India. For more than 85 years, Hitachi India, through its collaboration with the Government of India, has been striving to build a better future. A future where technology empowers people every minute to create an improved quality of life. Hitachi's legacy in India began in 1933 with the import of household fans. The year 1935 saw Hitachi setting its footprints with the first overseas office in Mumbai. Ushering in rail innovation, Hitachi Group delivered the country's first steam locomotive in 1953. This relationship continued to strengthen, with Hitachi delivering DC electric locomotives in 1955 and 5 Francis turbines for the Bhakra Power Station in 1958. Catalyzing India's transformational growth, Hitachi delivered the first thermal power plant equipment in 1961 and the first public telephone exchange in 1977. The year 1997 saw Hitachi expanding its footprints with the opening of Hitachi India's office in New Delhi. Today, this collaboration is being further solidified in many ways. As India emerges to become a rising superpower, Hitachi leverages its strength in OT and IT and products for an all-inclusive growth across urban and rural India. Hitachi's holistic solutions, powered by new-age technologies, fortify rising India's smart mobility solutions, digital farming, cash and digital advanced payment solutions, real-time governance, e-education including digital classrooms, and sustainable energy, water, manufacturing, construction machinery equipments, and healthcare solutions to usher in social innovation in India. With citizens at the very epicenter, Hitachi is engaging its social innovation business to accelerate India's physical and digital transformation and catapult the nation towards Industry 4.0 and Progressive Society 5.0. As a true partner, Hitachi is committed towards the sustainable growth of the country. Driven by its spirit of collaborative creation, Hitachi is actively partnering with the government in scripting the success of Digital India, Make in India and Smart Cities mission, and is fully committed to support the Government of India in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations and build a sustainable society. Through the development of advanced and superior technology, Hitachi continues to enhance the social, environmental and economic values of the nation and improve people's quality of life. Hitachi is touching and transforming the lives of millions of citizens through social innovation business every day.